Good afternoon, sir.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So what about your friends? Only 21 members joined. So here before start today I'm going to start DC generator characteristics. So here if you want to use a generator for a particular application, we have to know about the characteristics. So generator characteristics. If you know the generator characteristics, then only you can use that generator for a particular applications. So for applications, you have to know about the DC generator characteristics. So before going to this, uh, let me clear your doubts if you have. So do you have any doubts regarding previous class? If you have any doubts, you can tell me. I will explain. Or you can send your queries in the chat box also. Have you understood what is meant by self-exited generator and what is meant by separately exited generator? Is it clear? This one. What is a separately exited generator? What is a self-exited generator? So just revising the last class. So separately exited DC generator means we are going to excite the field winding by a separate DC source. Here, this is the field winding. So excitation means passing current through field winding is nothing but excitation. So here, if you pass current through this field winding by using a separate DC source, DC voltage source, so it is called as separately excited. Next, coming to the self-excited. Self-excited means the generator is generating the DC voltage, and the DC voltage, if you use for excitation, it is called as self-excited generator. And here you are going to have three types: series generator, shunt generator, compound generator. So if the series winding is here, if the field winding is in series with the armature, it is called as series generator. If the field winding is connected in parallel with the armature, it is called as shunt generator. And coming to compound generator, it will be having winding both in series and parallel. So here you can see here uh, the field is connected in parallel with the armature and there is a series field winding. So here it is called as short shunt. So shunt here it is connected only with the armature. The shunt field winding is connected only with the armature. Now here coming to the long shunt. The shunt field winding is connected to both the armature and the series field winding. So here the shunt field winding is connected in parallel with armature and series field. So here it is a long shunt. So let us see the characteristics. Okay. So this I covered in the last class. Now let us see the DC generator characteristics. So if you know the characteristics, then only you can use the generator for a particular application. Okay, first one is the open circuit characteristics. So can I start? Can I proceed? Okay. See here. So you already know that EG. What is EG? Generated EMF. EMF equation of a DC generator. EG equal to 5ZNP by 60A. So here where phi is the flux per pole, that is the total number of armature conductors, and is the speed in RPM. Okay. Next P is the number of poles, A is the number of parallel paths. Okay, is it clear? Okay. Now here for a given machine. So for a given machine, number of conductors will be constant. So after completing the manufacturing, so the conductor number of conductors will be constant, P will be constant. So P is number of poles, that will be constant. A is the number of parallel paths, that depends upon the winding. Now here EG depends after manufacturing a DC machine. So here phi and N may vary. So here phi depends upon the voltage. Okay. So here if you we can rotate the generator with high speed or low speed. Okay. So here coming to generator. So coming to generator. So here for a given machine, if you want to run a DC machine as generator, okay, we have to supply mechanical power. Okay, so mechanical power. So you can increase the speed or you can decrease the speed. You can okay, you can vary it. You can set the speed at different values. Okay, phi. Phi. If you take a separately excited generator, if you give less voltage means less flux. So here phi and n will be phi and n are in our control. Phi and n are in our control. Okay, we can vary phi and n. So if you rotate the generator with if you rotate the rotor of a generator with less speed, you are going to get less voltage. So these two are under our control. We can increase the flux, we can decrease the flux, we can increase the speed of the generator, we can decrease the speed of the generator depending upon that. EG varies. Is it clear? Now here, the first one is open circuit characteristics. It is the graph between E0 and IF. I will show the graph. So here, this is the OCC characteristics. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. I will clear your doubts. So here, y-axis is E0. What is meant by E0? E0 means no load EMF or terminal voltage with no load. E0 is the generated EMF. E0 is nothing but EG. E0 is nothing but EG. Under no load condition, so V will be equal to EG. V will be equal to EG. That's why it is called as E0. Under no load. Under no load. So here you have already seen. See here. Here EG. Here EG is there. Here V is there. V depends upon the load. If more load means more current. More current means V reduces. So V equal to EG minus IRA. Suppose if there is no load, if the secondary is open. So here, sorry. Here, if you disconnect this load, V will be equal to EG because IL will be 0. But you will be having small value of IA. So finally, here in this circuit you can see here what is E0. E0 is nothing but generated EMF, and we are going to vary the field current. So for different values of the field current, you are going to note only E0. E0 is nothing but EG. So here we are going to increase the field current and we are going to note on the values of E0 and we are going to draw the graph. So here in the experiment, what you are going to do. So for different values of we are in a tabular form. So we are in the lab, you are going to do like this. So you are going to draw a table like this. So for different values of IF, so first IF equal to 0, you are going to get some voltage. So some small voltage, let us say some 13.2 volts. Okay, 13.2 volts, let us say. So here, even if IF equal to 0, there will be some voltage induced. That induced EMF is called as residual voltage. So here. So here, when the field current is 0, there is some generated EMF OA. You can see here. This is due to residual magnetism. See, even if IF equal to 0, you are going to get some voltage that is due to residual flux in the poles. So here in the poles there will be some residual flux. Even if there is no current, there will be some magnetic flux in the field poles. So due to that we are going to get some voltage. Here you know that Eg equal to 510 P by 68. Now here we are going to increase the flux by increasing the current. But here, even if IF equal to 0, there will be some residual flux, residual magnetic flux. So due to that flux, we are going to get some voltage. That is a residual voltage. Next, we are going to increase the current. So let us take some 0.1, like 0.1. So you are going to get some voltage, some 20 volts, like that here. For example, I am telling. So like this, for different values of IF, you are going to note down the values of EG, and you are going to draw a graph. So this is the open circuit characteristics. Why it is called open circuit means, so see here, we are not connecting any load here. We are not connecting any load here. So we are just connected a voltmeter. Connecting a voltmeter is nothing but open circuiting. We are just finding the voltage across these two terminals. We are finding the voltage across these two terminals. So here generally it is the open circuit voltage. That's why we call as E naught. Voltage is E naught. So the graph between E naught and IF is the open circuit characteristics. Open circuit characteristics. So here, if you have a shunt generator or compound generator or series generator, whatever may be the generator. So if you want to the open circuit characteristics, we have to make the generator as separately excited. We have to supply field current with a separate DC source, and you are going to rotate the armature, and we are going to find the voltage across the armature. Is it clear? See here, if you see this equation, what you are doing, we are varying the flux, and we are rotating the generator with a constant speed. With a constant speed. See here. So for a given generator, we can for different here. We have a generator, right? In that we are going to apply mechanical power. Okay, we are going to rotate the rotor. We are going to make N as constant. That is constant speed. Okay. Next, here Eg will be proportional to flux. Now here Eg will be proportional to flux, which is proportional to IF. Now here, even if IF equal to 0, we are going to get some flux that is due to residual flux. Next, afterwards, the Eg increases linearly with IF. So as you know that Eg equal to 500 P by 60A. So here Eg increases linearly with IF. After the point up to point B, the flux increases linearly. From here, let us take from here, from this point to point B, the generated EMF increases linearly. And after the point B, the increase in the E naught will be less. due to decrease in the permeability. And after the point C, so you are going to get a constant voltage. You are going to get a constant voltage. So why this happens means, so after this the core gets saturated. So I will show this diagram. See here. After this the core gets saturated, and even if you increase the field current, the voltage will not increase. So this occurs due to saturation. These points I explained here. See here. First point. The following points may be noted from OCC. When the field current is zero, there is no generated EMF. There is some generated EMF. Okay. OA. When field current is zero, so here this is zero. When field current is zero, so there is some generated EMF of OA. Okay. This is due to residual magnetism in the field poles. So next, over a fairly wide range of field current up to point B in the curve is linear. So you can see here, this is a linear curve. This is a linear curve from here to here. So here the curve is linear. From here to here, the curve is linear. Up to point B, the curve is linear. Next, after point B, mu r of iron decreases. That means permeability decreases. The curve deviates from linear relationship. Okay, the curve deviates from linear relationship. After point C, what happens here? After point C on the curve, magnetic saturation of poles begin. Magnetic saturation of the poles begins. So this is about the OCC. It is a graph between E0 and IF, or generated EMF and field current. So here, now see here, open circuit characteristics means E0 versus IF. It is a curve shows the relationship between the generated EMF at no load. So EG at no load is called as E0. Generated EMF at no load is represented with E0. And the field current, IF at constant speed It is also known as magnetic characteristics or no load saturation curve. So it has three names: open circuit characteristics, magnetic characteristics, and no load saturation curve. Its shape is practically the same for all generators, whether separately or self-excited. Okay. So next one is the internal characteristics or total characteristics. So it is a graph between E and IA. So what is E? E will be less than EG. So here, this curve shows the relation between generated EMF on load. E means generated EMF on load, and IA is the armature current. So the induced EMF E will be less than E0 due to effects of armature reaction. So here what is meant by armature reaction means, so here the armature conductors will be carrying the current. When you apply the load, you are going to have armature current IA. So here due to this IA, some flux is produced by the armature winding. So here some flux will be produced by the armature winding, and this flux will reduce the main flux. So here we are going to have the reduced voltage due to this armature reaction. What is meant by armature reaction means, the effect of armature flux on the main flux is known as armature reaction. Effect of main flux on the armature flux is known as armature reaction. Next, external characteristics. So it is a graph between V and IL. IL is the load current. So here if you see the difference, internal characteristics means it is a graph between E and IA. E and IA. Next, the graph between V and IL is called as external characteristics. I will show this one. So internal and external characteristics. So E naught minus voltage drop due to armature reaction is E. E minus armature drop, IAR, is called as V. So here E versus IA is internal characteristics. V versus here V versus IL is external characteristics. Now let us see the EMF. So voltage build up in shunt generator. So let us take a shunt generator and let us study how a voltage is built up in a shunt generator. Now here you can see here this is a shunt generator. Initially the here we have taken a shunt generator and we have rotated the armature by some external means with a constant speed. And then what happens? The armature is rotated. So initially, what about IA? What about the current flowing to this field winding? Initially, it will be zero. So here, once it is rotated, so there will be here. So once it is rotated, you are going to get some voltage across these two terminals. Okay. So here, before rotation, the current is zero. Here and here, the all the currents will be zero. Once it is rotated with constant speed, once the armature is rotated with constant speed, after some time, you are going to get some voltage. So let us put one some point here. Put some point B. This is point C. Okay, let it be. So here a voltage OB. So this is the E. Okay. Or you can directly take this as V. So I am talking about the shunt generator. So here, when you have a DC machine and a DC shunt machine. So this machine you have. So here, once you rotate the armature, once you rotate the armature, what happens? A small voltage is produced due to residual flux. Due to residual flux, a small voltage is produced. Let us take the small voltage as OB. OB is the voltage which is generated due to residual flux. And due to this voltage, okay, you are going to have some field current, ISH. Now ISH is equal to OD. ISH is equal to OD. Okay. So how you got OD? So here RSH. RSH is the resistance of the shunt field winding. So RSH is the resistance of the shunt field winding. So once you rotate the armature with constant speed, so you are going to get the voltage OB. Now EG will be equal to OB. Okay. EG will be equal to OB, and due to this voltage, a current is equal to OD is produced. Now, due to this field current, a voltage, okay, this is the voltage, ED, DE, D is the voltage generated. Now here instead of OB, it becomes DE, DE. The generated voltage will be DE, and due to this generated voltage, so here we are going to have the current as OF. So I am going to draw here. OD becomes OF, and due to this OF current, there will be flux. That due to that flux, Fg is the voltage. Fg is the voltage, and due to this Fg voltage, see here, due to this Fg voltage, here the current becomes OH. The current becomes OH. Due to this OH current, you are going to have the flux, and due to the flux, you are going to have the EMF as HI. EMF will be HI. Due to this HI voltage, okay, so the current is, how to get the current? Voltage divided by resistance. This is the resistance. Due to this value of voltage, you are going to get a current of OG. Wave becomes OG. So due to this OG, the voltage will be GK. 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 So here, these are the, in this way the voltage increases. So first, due to residual flux, we are going to get the voltage OD, and due to this voltage, see here, due to this voltage, we are going to get a current OD. Now OD is the field current. Due to the field current OD, the generated voltage will be D. Due to this voltage, the field current increases. Here, if this voltage increases means the current increases. If current increases means generated voltage increases. If generated voltage increases, again the current increases. The field current increases. If the field current increases, generated voltage increases. So like this, we are going to have EMF build up. So here the generator will build up the voltage. So voltage build up in a shunt generator. This is the way in which the voltage will be built up in a shunt generator. Now here you have to know about 2 points. So first one. So here this is RSH. RSH is the resistance of the shunt field winding. Now if RSH is the resistance of the shunt field winding. Next, from origin, if you draw a line, touching the linear portion, and the slope of this line gives the critical field resistance RC, RSH. So here V by I is resistance. So here slope of this line RSH gives the resistance of the shunt field winding. RSH is the resistance of the shunt field winding. Slope of this line gives the resistance. Now here slope of this line gives the value of the critical field resistance. Now if RSH is less than RC, then only voltage buildup takes place. If RSH is greater than RC, voltage buildup process cannot take place. Is it clear? So for the voltage to build up, the resistance of the shunt field winding, that is RSH, must be less than critical field resistance. So in the lab, you are going to calculate the RC, critical field resistance. Okay. So here the maximum field circuit resistance for a given speed, okay, with which the shunt generator would just excite is known as its critical field resistance. It can be obtained by drawing a line starting from origin to linear portion of OCC. And if you find the slope of this line, it gives the value of the RC. RC is the critical field resistance. In the next class, I will show how armature reaction occurs. So next, characteristics of DC series generator. Characteristics of DC series generator. Now if you take a DC series generator, and if you want to find the OCC, it is similar to separately excited generator. See here, the OCC of a generator, OCC of a DC generator is determined as follows. Okay, the field winding of the DC generator, okay, series or shunt, is disconnected from the machine and is separately excited from an external DC source as shown in the figure. So if you want the OCC of any generator, a series or a compound or a shunt, we have to operate it as separately excited generator, and we have to draw the graph between IF and the generator voltage that gives the OCC. So here I explained the OCC of a shunt generator and voltage build-up process in a shunt generator, and also the critical field resistance. Now here internal and external characteristics. So here, if you increase the load, we can increase the current. See here, we are going to increase the load on the here this diagram. If you increase the load, if you connect, if the load consumes more current, how to increase the load? In the lab, you are going to connect the resistors in parallel. So here, the load can be. So here, you are going to have a switch. Okay. If you close the switch, the load will consume the power. Okay, like this you are going to have connect this. You are going to have the loads like this. In the lab, you are going to increase the load current by switching the loads, switching on the loads. So if you connect the load, if you move the switch like this, we are going to increase the load. We are going to increase the load step by step by connecting the loads in parallel one by one. So like this here, if you add, you can add the loads. You can add the resistive loads. In the lab, you have the resistive loads that you can add one by one. If you add the load current increases. So here, the loads are connected in parallel. If the loads are connected in parallel, the equivalent resistance reduces. So it draws more current. Okay. So if you add the loads, load current gets increased, and you are going to get this graph. So by increasing the load current, the voltage increases here. By increasing the load current, the voltage decreases because V equal to Eg minus IARA. We know that V equal to Eg minus IARA. V equal to Eg minus IRA. But here there will be one more drop, voltage drop due to armature reaction. So this we are going to do in the lab. Okay. Now coming to characteristics of DC series generator. Characteristics of DC series generator. Just a minute. Yeah, students. Now coming to characteristics of DC series generator. So here, first you are going to get the OCC, similar to separately excited generator. You are going to get this E0 versus IF. So here, IF is equal to IA is equal to IL. So for a series generator, whatever the values you take, so here x-axis is IF, which is equal to IA, which is equal to IL. So if you take a series generator, we can see this one. IF is equal to IA is equal to IL. So let me show the diagram also. Here, IL is equal to. Are you able to see the series generator? Yeah, please respond. Yeah, one of you, please respond. Are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you take a series generator, IL is equal to IF. Okay, IF. IL is equal to IF is equal to IA. Okay. Here, first you are going to draw E naught versus IL by connecting the uh, DC series generator as a separately excited DC generator. We are going to increase the field current and you are going to draw the graph between E naught and IF. So here E naught is equal to EG, E naught is equal to EG, IL is equal to IA is equal to IF. You can take IL as common for all these. Okay. Next, so here, if you subtract the drop due to armature reaction, I will show the diagram in the next class. So there will be voltage drop due to armature reaction. So here, if more current means more armature reaction. More current means more voltage drop due to armature reaction. Armature reaction increases with the armature current. That I will show in the next class. The diagram I'm going to show. Okay. Next, coming to this one. This you already know. Drop due to IA into RA plus RSC. So there will be voltage drop due to armature resistance and series field resistance IA into RA plus RSC. So here in these equations I have not considered the armature reaction. Okay, I have not considered the armature reaction. So here why I have not considered means, so we are going to reduce the armature reaction by some methods. So that's why I have not done the armature reaction. So here voltage drop due to armature reaction is there. Actually, we are going to reduce the armature reaction by following some methods. So that's why there I have not shown the voltage drop due to armature reaction. So here V equal to Eg minus IARA. Here I have not considered the voltage drop due to armature reaction. Actually, there will be some voltage drop due to armature reaction. After that, actually this must be instead of Eg, this must be E. Actually, V equal to E minus IARA. See here, E is there. If you subtract IARA from E, we are going to get V. V equal to E minus IARA. So actually, we are going to reduce the armature reaction by following some methods. Okay. So here, if you remove the drop due to armature reaction from E naught, you are going to get E. From E, if you remove the voltage drop due to armature resistance and RSC, you are going to get V. V is the terminal voltage. So here, these are the characteristics of a DC series generator. So here, you can see here PS. What is PS here? From this point to from here, P to S. So P to S. P to S. So PS is the induced EMF at no load. Okay. QS. QS is the induced EMF on load. Induced EMF on load. So if you increase the voltage, if you increase the load current, okay, if you increase the load current, So the drop due to armature reaction increases. So here TS is the induced EMF at a no load condition here, and QS is the Q. This is this. QS is the induced EMF on load, and RS is the terminal voltage. RS is the terminal voltage for a load current equal to this point. This point, whatever the load current you take at that point. So here, this is P is the induced EMF, Q is the induced EMF on load, R is the or simply R or RS. RS is the terminal voltage. So coming to the applications. So here the choice of a DC generator for a particular service depends upon its performance characteristics. That means if you know the characteristics, then only you can use the generator for a particular application. So the applications of various types of DC generators are given below. So first one, separately excited DC generators. So these are important for exam point of view. So these are used in Ward-Leonard system. So here it is a speed control system. So speed control. So here that such systems are used in mine house, steel mill, okay, steel mill, paper making machines, diesel electric diesel electric locomotives. Okay, because of self-excitation would be unstable at lower voltages. So here these places we are going to use separately excited DC generators. At these places we are going to use separately excited DC generators because self-excitation would be unstable at lower voltages. So at lower voltages, as a residual at lower voltages, self-excitation would be unstable. That's why we are going to use separately excited DC generators. The field winding is excited separately. The next, series wound DC generators, or simply series DC generator. So here, their best application is for supplying field current for regenerative braking in DC locomotives. So here DC, so in trains, nowadays we are using a three-phase induction motor. Previously we used to have DC series motors. So here DC series motors can be operated as generator, okay, and that is called as regenerative braking. So here one of the important is booster. Booster means voltage booster.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Okay.
Voltage booster. So voltage, what is meant by voltage booster? It increases the voltage. So a voltage booster is a series wound DC generator. So a voltage booster is a series wound DC generator.
Okay, sir, no problem.
Which is inserted in a circuit to add certain voltage.
Yes, sir. Okay.
A booster voltage is a series wound DC generator which is inserted in a circuit to add certain voltage so that excessive drop in the feeder is compensated. So here you can see this is the feeder. This is a feeder. This is a feeder. Feeder is used to supply power. Now here there will be voltage drop in the feeder. If the feeder length is long, there will be voltage drop in the feeder due to resistance of the feeder. Now here the current increases, voltage drop increases, IR drop. So I into R drop will be there in the feeder. As the length of the feeder is more drop. So here if at this point we are having less voltage and we have to increase the voltage. This can be done by having a series generator. See here, this is a generator and this is armature and its field winding is shown, series field. Now here we are going to see here this motor is coupled to this generator and motor is given the supply here. This voltage is given to the motor, and here it is a shunt field to this motor, shunt field of this motor. Now here as the load increases, what happens as the load increases? So the series field winding, the current will be more. So here this current increases, so the field current increases. If field current increases, what happens? Here the voltage, more voltage will be add up. So let us take, so suppose take, he is the EMF generated by this generator, series generator. This will be added to V. So here V plus, suppose here the voltage is V, it got reduced due to increase in the current. Due to increase in the current, the voltage reduced, and we have to increase the voltage. And we are going to add this voltage E to this V proportional to the load current. So if IL increases means IF also increases, and field current flux increases, this E increases, and it will add the voltage to this terminal voltage. So here you are going to get the required voltage. So here series generator acts as a voltage booster, and here this motor can take power from this generator. Sorry, sir. Here this motor is used to supply mechanical power to this generator. This motor is drawing power from this generator. The motor is drawing power from this generator. That means terminal voltage. This motor is drawing power from this generator, and it is rotating. And here it is. This motor is supplying the mechanical power input to this series generator, and we are going to increase the voltage. So this voltage is added to this V, and we are going to get the required voltage here. Then he loads in this voltage booster. So here series field means we have to write this voltage booster. This is one of the main application of a series generator. So regenerative braking in DC locomotives. That means electric trains. Previously we used to have DC motors will be used to drive the electric trains. Nowadays, three-phase induction motors are used. So when DC series motors are used, so they are made to work as a regenerative braking. So here, the motors will work as generator when there is a slope. So in that case, the motor, instead of consuming the power, it will generate the power. That is called as regenerative braking. So regenerative power, it is used for the braking purpose. So regenerative braking. So next, shunt generator. So if we take a shunt generator, so shunt generator is used for light and power supply purposes. So due to its constant voltage, see here. So how you are going to say it is having a constant output voltage? So constant output voltage. So see the characteristics. So see the characteristics. So here, the voltage, if you draw correctly, the voltage will be almost constant. So I have not drawn here. You can take here. This is a so there is a more values on the y-axis, but I have not drawn. I have took a breakpoint. I have taken a breakpoint. Okay. Actually, if you draw correctly here, it will be like this. So you cannot differentiate these values. So here you cannot differentiate these values. So like that. So here, in order to have these values, I have taken a breakpoint. Okay. So there are more values on the y-axis. Just I have taken the required values. So required values I have taken. So here actually there are more values. So I have taken this part. I have taken this part, and this part I have not included. Okay. This part I have not included in this graph. So actually there will be small slight voltage drop. So here it is almost constant. So here as the voltage decreases slightly, it is called as constant output voltage generator. Okay, so it is used for light and power supply purposes. These are also used for charging batteries. So batteries require a DC voltage. So if you take a charger will convert. If you take any charger, there will be a transformer which convert the high voltage to low voltage. Okay, and that low voltage will be rectified, and finally the output of the charger will be DC. That DC voltage will be used to charge the battery of the cell phone or any battery. Okay, so here they are used for charging of batteries because they are made up to give constant output voltage. Next, next one is cumulative compound DC generator. So over compound type are generally used for lightning and power. So here there are three types. So I will show here. So diagram I will show in the next class. So there are three types: over compound, level compound, and under compound. So over compounded type are generally used for lightning and power services. So similar to shunt. Okay, because over compounding compensates voltage drop in the distribution lines, and thus voltage at the consumer terminals remains more or less constant. Example: distribution system of a ship. Distribution system of a ship. So here, if you have a cumulative compound DC generator, there is no use of booster. Okay, there is no use of booster. So by taking a cumulative compound DC generator, we are going to provide power supply to ship. So power supply in a ship, distribution system of a ship. The next one is the last one, differential compound DC generator. So the diagram I will show in the next class. So differential compound DC generator is used for arc welding. For welding purpose, we are going to use differential compound DC generator. In the next class, I will show how will be the characteristics of a differential compound DC generator. So let me take the attendance.